Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Yapzor. Today is episode 4 of our Python for Granny series, and we are going to be talking about strings and strings operations. So stay tuned. Okay, so in Python, a string is simply a sequence of characters that are enclosed in a single or double quote. For an example, Python is an easy to learn language with these double quotes at the beginning and at the end, closing it. That's just a string. In simple terms, Python is an easy to learn language with the single quotes too. It's the same way. It doesn't give difference. But the only thing you have to be careful is that when you're defining, when you start with open, you have to close with double quotes. And how do we define Pythons? Like we did in variables. A string, you just the string name at the left hand side and the string itself at the right. So the string name should obey all the rules of what variable name, since it's a variable name. So an example is easy language is equal to what Python is very easy. So this is a long sentence. It's a string. My ID is equal to 22. Here is 22 is a string, not a number, because of this quotation that is what on it. So in this tutorial, we are going to be using more of the single quote, though the double quote is also what it works the same thing for you. So let me open my IDLE. If you don't have the IDLE, you can go back. I have a video on the description below on starting Python. That is the episode 1 of what Python for Granny. So to define a string, an example is name is equal to. So when you open the quotation and you type in whatever string that you have to put in there. So this is our what the string name. That's my full name. Some of Joseph, so he or Yapzor. Sorry, this is not there. Okay, so this is what our string name, and that's just basically how to define a string. You can my ID is equal to 0921, just anything for the meantime. So this, to know the type whether it's a string or not, we use what we call type into bracket, and you enter what in your string. So we have what sorry, the string, the name. So we have name is what the class a string, since it's a string. We also have my ID. So the type of my ID is also a string. So a string because of what this quotation mark that is on it. If I had defined it this way without those marks, so I remove the quotation, there's an error here because you cannot start a number with a 0. So let me just ignore the 0, and it gives you this. So asking for the type of it is now what an integer instead of a string. So it's a double quotation that makes it what a string in Python. And when you define it, let's now how are what these strings saved in Python. They are saved this way. Looking at it, they are saved in what indexes. So have indexes for every string, all the letters in the all the characters, not all the letters. If you have in size strings, you can have characters in there, but there's a way you have to be careful dealing with those characters in there. So this is how I see it. The string is here. So the string, for example, Python, the index, the first one, the index of it is 0. So indexing in Python starts with what? 0. We have 1 for the second one, 2 for the third one, 3 for the fourth one. Is the same way. And with the last one, you can either this for example, this one is 5. Another way of writing the last one is what? -1. So if you are starting from the beginning, we have what? Starting from 0. But if you are starting from the end, we start from what? -1. So this place will be what? -2, -3, and it's the same thing towards here. So you can just check that out. So maybe I'll use the name. So my name dot index. So let me use a character that is not that common. Okay, so I'll use W since that one is not common. So I'll put it in a form of a string. And it gives me what? 5. So what it tells us is what? The W. So the S is first, that's 0. A is second, that's 1. L is third, that's 2. M is fourth, that's 3. A is fifth, that's 4. And the W is fifth, that is 5. So that's just what? The indexing of it. And there are a whole lot. That's how indexing in what? Python is saved. So all those characters, all the characters that you type in there, this is how the Python system saves it. And all the values are being stored. And you can access each index at any time as you wish. And we have the operations we can do on what? Strings. There are a lot of operations, but we are going to deal with only these basic ones: upper, lower, capitalized, title, length, slicing, and formatting. So when with this one, the name is, I started all of them with what? Capital letters. So if you have to use the upper, what the upper does is what? It changes all of them to what? Upper cases. So we have name is equal to what? Name dot upper, open and close brackets, because it's a function. So when you do that, it stores name now as what? Some is the same name, but the only transformation is that instead of the letters all being small letters, here is what? All of them are in upper cases. So that is how the dot upper works. We have dot lower, which is what? Obviously the opposite. So this gives you what? All of them in what? Lower cases. And it's all, none of them is in uppercase. So that's just opposite of what? The dot upper. We have the third one, which is what? Capitalized. So name dot capitalize. Name dot capitalize. Sorry. So in this case, we use the American spelling of capitalize, not the British. So name dot capitalize, what it does is what? It changes only the first letter to capital and the rest of the letters to what? Small letters. So this sometimes is being called the sentence case. That's the first, it starts with a capital letter, and everything that follows is what? In small letter. We have the third one, which is similar to the dot capitalize, but that one is quite different. So name dot title gives us this: all the first letters of the characters are made capital. All the first letters after every space are made what? Capital for you. So that is how we use the dot title. Mostly we use it when you are formatting name. So after taking a name, you not want to save it in all caps or all lower, but what title form, and that is the appropriate way of keeping storing names. We have the dot replace. So the dot replace, what the dot replace does is what it changes a particular group of sentence with what characters with what you request it to. So I can use name dot replace. So what am I replacing here? I want to replace Joseph with Big Joe. Sorry. So you have to put it in a string. Why this error? Okay, I get it. So why this error was thrown to us in the first place was name error. Big Joe for real is not defined. It's because this one I've not defined any variable and I'm using it. But to use it as a non-variable, a string, you have to use as a string. And here I did dot replace. Meanwhile, name I saved the new name is what? Joseph. So the Joseph here are all in caps. And what I'm replacing here is what? I asked it to replace a small letters. And this is different from this. In Python, I said earlier, small letters and capital letters are recognized differently during the variables. So this is different from that. That is why it's what it didn't replace anything at all. But if I use this, so Joseph dot upper. So you can use the string, the function directly on the string without having to save it in a variable. So if I do this, it replaces the Joseph with what? Uh, Big Joe for real. And that's just basically how it works. So this is the same thing as writing the Joseph dot upper. So sometimes it's just good to what? Use these functions on your statement. So no matter what the user what gives you, you what display the same thing out and use it. And we have the length function. So the length is simply the number of characters in the word. So length of name is 34, and because the name is long, we will not count. So let me just name a simple variable. Age is equal to 324 in a string format. So have what? Age is equal to, let me use the length. So length of age is 3. So it doesn't index. The index that starts with 0, but with the count, with the length, it just counts everything out for you. We also have a function we call count. So name dot count. The count takes in a parameter. That is what? A particular string. So for instance, I want to count the number of times O appears in my name. So I just put in O. Sorry, no what? I've kept everything in upper, so everything is in upper. It doesn't count anything lower. So uh, count O. O appears 5 times in my name. So there's O here, another one here, 2 inside here, and the last one here. So there are 5 O's in my name. I could have counted a different, so S, and there are 3. 1, 2, 3. And those are what the how we use the count. There are a lot of functions. If you just type the name of your variable and put dot, they will appear on your screen and you get them. So in case you have a problem, you can always find them out. There are a whole lot. We have case, full, center, count, encode, ends with. There are a lot of them. So for now, to make this simple, this you know to use them now at the beginner level. Maybe it's when you start to write programs that you're using. So as we get to write programs, when we start writing programs, we what? Start to use them. So something like, so we'll now use the dot format. And the format, this, okay, I said the last one, the one before formatting is sliding. So what the sliding it does is what? It takes a particular, to get a particular group of strings from it. So let's say, for instance, this is my name. This is what I have as name. So in case I want to print out only the first name, the surname, so this, I want to print it out. What I do is what? I take the index of it. So I can first, let me use the index. So to get, we use a square bracket and enter in the number. You enter in the number. So if I enter 5, it returns us with W. And W is what? The index is what is at the index 5. I do name index -1. It returns us with R. As I said here, the last one is what? Negative. So if I do -2, it will give us what? O. And that is our -2. And at the beginning too, we can also count from the beginning. So name 0. It gives us what? S. And that is this S. You can also get a group of characters. So what that one is? So name with this, you enter the first index and the last index. So 0 is 2. So let me use 11. And I print out this. That is, the sum will be, there are 10 letters. So, and the L, the index of the L is 11, is 10, and it adds the what? Space to it. So because I added a space at 11, the index of the L is 10, and I added 1. That's why the space came. So to get it exactly, it's just 10 here. I could have also counted it from behind. So name -7. So what this does is what? The -2. The negative is 2. It starts from -7 up to the last one. So that will give us what? -7 is here, -6. The y is -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, and -1. So that's how it works. And I can also to get from the beginning. So this one, another way of writing this is just ignoring the 0. So what I'm telling Python to do is what? From the beginning, everything from the beginning up to the 10th character, and what? Prints it out to us. And that is on the sliding. You can manipulate it whatever way. You can get in middle text. So name to 11 is to 17, and that prints out Joseph for us. So the index of the J is 12, but the space is 11. So let me get the index. Let me just to name dot index. So sorry, the index of the J is rather 11. So when I use the 11, it starts from the 11 up to the 17th index, and the 17th is the H. The 17th is the space. So let me now explain this right for you. So the index at the last one, it doesn't count the last one you provided. It's the last one minus 1. So the first one you give is where to start up to the last one minus 1. And we'll now do the formatting. And how the formatting does is, in case you have a string, you want to add something up to it, you want to manipulate it. So let me put my statement. So my state is equal to, I've written a program that will print out a description of a person. So my name is this, my ID is that. So what I can simply do is, my name is, instead of putting my full name there, there's a way of writing it so that you can what, as a template. Sometimes they call it template, so that you can fix in whoever's information is. So my name is this, my, and my ID is that. So with this, when you put the curly brackets dot format and you provide in the numbers or the variable names of those. So my name is, so I'll just put name comma my ID. So what it will do is what, wherever it finds the first curly bracket, it replaces it with name. Wherever it finds the second curly bracket, it replaces with what, my ID. There's not supposed to be comma here, sorry. So let me check. My statement is good. My name is okay. So I removed the second listen. That is also my ID. So it now works perfectly. So my statement, it gives you what, my name is Samuel B. Joseph, so use a Yapzor. My ID is this. So what it simply did was that the first one, it replaced it with my name, and the second one, it replaces with what, my ID. So that's just basically about the templating. And this tutorial has been a bit long, so thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, hit on that subscribe button to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.